and talk to you about.
Okay.
And the first
Okay.
one is about Black history. So what I want to know is what does Black history mean to you? You can talk about Black History Month, Black history overall. What does it mean to you?
Well, I think Black history begins with our elders.
Mm.
So for me, Black history starts with my mom, and I think for all of us, that's where it should start with our parents. Um, and then, it branches into my grandma, and then, the stories of those that came before. That's the foundation of, I
All right.
I Black history for yours, for mine, for whoever is it starts at home, with what mom had to go through because you know we wasn't rich in Chicago. So I remember things and seeing things that I'm like, okay, I know what that struggle is about. And then, um, hearing it from my grandma and my aunts and my uncles and so forth, that's Black history, and it stretches back millennia, a long, long time. And it bleeds over into other people's families. It bleeds over into Dr. King's family. It bleeds over into Garvey's family. It bleeds over into Megger's family. So it bleeds over into other people's family where it's like, okay, this is a connection that we have beyond, well, I'll say it's deeper than this. The world may see this, but that connection is it bleeds over, into other people's families. So for me, um, that's what Black history is. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
No, no,
that's how I see it.
absolutely does. And with all the interviews that I've done, you're the first person that says, it starts with my mom, starts with the parent. So I love that answer. I love that
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. Well, I still have, you know, um, elders right now in my family that are getting to that age where they're finna transition,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's right now it's important to me to like kind of reach out and like, hey, let me grab this history and talk and you know um take hold of this. Growing up, my mom, she was a single parent for a long time, and then she remarried. That's a whole nother story. But you know, how can I honor, what I'm saying, Dr. King if I can't honor grandma, if I can't honor grandpa, and if I can't honor aunt and uncle, and the struggles and sacrifices they made just so that I could be sitting right here
Mm.
because their sacrifices and their struggles was the closest thing to me. It's what kept breath, literally kept breath in my body, at times. And so, yeah, I can appreciate, um, what some of these more iconic, what I'm saying, ancestors did, but it has to start, at home.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love that answer and that reflection on that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna do a shout out real quick. Two books for you guys. One you should read, Strength of Love by Dr. King. The other one I got at home is Where Do We Go from Where Do We Go from Here? You want to read those books, people?
The Strength of Love by Dr. King.
Yeah, this is an awesome book. And the other one, Where Do We Go from Here? Community or Chaos. It was his last book, and this is the king that polite society doesn't like to talk about. Where he starts talking about the money, and hey, like where have you ever heard the famous quote? I think I may have integrated my people into a burning building. Have you ever
Mm.
heard that quote from
Mm-hmm.
King?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're gonna find it in that book. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community, and I'm just getting into that one. It's been on my list for a long time, but it's like one of those must read books because it's that transition from like, hey, okay, we're integrated, but what I'm saying, we're still in very bad shape, and unfortunately, right now in 2021, we're still in very bad shape. The community is still in very bad shape. And I believe that no one person has all the answers. So I'm not saying like, hey, King's, the authoritative voice on, our community and our shared experience, but I believe there's something to be learned, from there. And so that's what I'm seeking to try and pull out of there, because there, and I know at this moment we're at a transition point where we have an opportunity to have a paradigm shift of sorts, um, as far as our standing in the world goes.
Speak on it. Elaborate, please.
Well, I feel like we're having that Kanye moment. I'm still
Oh,
kind of, yeah. But you remember he went and snatched the mic and he was like, Beyonce should have won. you know, we're at that moment right now. We just snatched the mic, but is what we're gonna say and demand? Is it gonna be substantive? Is it gonna, what I'm saying, elevate us, the way that, what Dr. King and Malcolm had to say, elevated and move the needle? Or is it gonna be, the saggy pants, rah rah rah, stuff? You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like we got the mic in our hand. We got, what I'm saying, only a moment before they come, like, hey, get off the stage, because unlike Kanye, we ain't caked in like that. So while we have this opportunity, what we say really matters, and it has to be poignant. But not only what we say, what we do in this moment also. So I hope that makes sense.
No,
And
it does.
kind of what I'm thinking.
It does, and I definitely agree with you. One of my concerns, and I'll pose this as a question for you, is what we see a lot in the mainstream media, especially when it's an election cycle. And in this one, it was very prevalent, right? They had they used strippers to try to get out the black male vote, right? They had Cardi B as the spokesperson, for Black America, when she wasn't always even identifying as black, right? And I don't think she actually is. And we know the controversies with, her lifestyle choice and her music. And does that muddle the message?
I don't know much about what you're mentioning there on the Cardi B thing. I heard about the stripper, deal with getting people to go vote or what. Unfortunately, even though I'm still young, I'm kind of detached from a lot of you know that type of things. It just
Well, let me frame it like this for you, Rev.
like
Let me frame it like this for you. Let's say that let's see, someone from the era that you might know. A better way to do it, maybe Rick James, right? So you have Rick James is brought on to the national circuit to be the voice for a Black America, when that's not representative of actual Black Americans, right? And so things like reparations or other interest in the Black community, those things don't get to come to the surface, because what they do is they find folks, that Black people, that will say, well, you know what, I don't need any reparations, kind of like Herschel Walker was just doing recently on TV. And you're looking behind him, and it's just this palatial mansion that he's sitting in here, talking about, well, I don't think that, Black people are going to benefit from reparations, and you don't need reparations. But I'm looking at your, 20,000 square foot mansion. You know what I mean? So, but that's what they do. And then they say, well, look, your own people are saying that you don't need reparations and you shouldn't have reparations. So that's what it is. So how do we, even if we have something poignant to say, as you were saying, how do we break through the mainstream media and the fake news to actually have our voices and our viewpoints heard and respected?
Well, you know, one analogy I like, my brother, is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it working just fine, so let's keep it rolling. I got the bishop gave me a 1993 Honda. You know what I'm saying? The thing it's old, right? But it still run.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm gonna drive it. Guess what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Here's the thing, right? We've gotten into this mindset where we feel like, one, we have to be validated by white society, and that's not the case. We do not need validation from white media, white society, or anything, as far as our community goes, and this isn't like a dig on white people, what I'm saying? Look, a person's a person, okay? I'm gonna call a horse when I see it, all right? And we understand, the dynamics of race in America today, better than anybody else. The thing is, what I'm saying, the message has always moved, what I'm saying, as a grassroots message. We do not need CBS, NBC, HBO, or anybody else to reflect our identity, or to, re-announce, or to echo our call to ourselves. We can do it the same way that, like I said, Martin did it, and Malcolm did it, and Megger did it, and the Rev did it. All of those people that came before us. It wasn't like, oh well, I can't get on NBC, so the message is going to die. No, we have to get back to understanding that the value really lies in us, and it always has lied in us. And so if we can get back to a mindset that we can do things for ourselves, by ourselves, that is productive for us, then we can get the message out. We can be heard. There's always going to be a segment of our community that is opposed to our advancement. I learned a long time ago that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Just recently, the cousin, he comes out with the letter. Oh, it was a deathbed confession. He feels so bad. He set up Malcolm to get killed, and you know what? I have no sympathy for you or for your your passing cousin, and I pray he was saved and make it to heaven or whatever. But for what he did, and the way that the cousin came and trying to present it to the community, I feel was a little underhanded. Hey, let's call a spade a spade. All right, you was wrong, and we have gotten so used to saying, hey, okay, I can't live without certain comforts, so I'm willing to compromise who I am. I'm willing to compromise my community. I'm willing to compromise even my family, my grandma, my mama. I don't care who it is, as long as I don't have to compromise my comfort. And that brother, what I'm saying, he's like, oh, well, they're threatening me with jail time. Okay, go sit in jail with your other brothers, what I'm saying, with the Black Panthers that was sitting in jail at that time, and say, hey, they was trying to set me up. We got to get the word out so that the next brother that they try and play this on, that it's not going to work. And then they left, what I'm saying, with one choice, and that is to openly expose themselves and do what they have to do open-handedly. If you remember back in Exodus, right, when in first chapter, the Hebrews was finna get ready to get up. Well, no, right before they got ready to leave Egypt, right? What happened? A new king comes in, and he tells the midwives, he's like, hey, anytime a boy's born, kill him. The midwives didn't do it. So what was left? He had to expose himself, and he made a proclamation like, hey, any Hebrew boys, y'all kill it. So he tried to do it underhanded and hide that he's like having these wicked thoughts, and he's this mean, cruel person, and that's what America keeps doing to us, and we keep on falling for that same old trick. And co-pastor, she always say the devil don't have to change his taxes if they keep working. And so
Well,
we got,
facts. Facts.
yeah, we got, people that they gonna flash that money in front of them, and they gonna go. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing why I really respect Chappelle, because they try to flash that money in front of him. Hey, get in this dress. He like, nah, what I'm saying? The Bible say, look, men don't dress like women, and women don't dress like men. I ain't putting on no dress, And so he was willing to pass up that money, and forego his comfort, what I'm saying, in order to, remain uncompromised. And so we have to expose those who are, we have to expose those in our community that are willing to make those compromises, that are willing to, sell us out, for a Nike deal, or what I'm saying, a Sprite deal, or a record deal, or a movie, or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
Just because what I'm saying, um, you done played in 10 movies and you make $20 million, that don't mean that your voice, what I'm saying, at least for me personally, I ain't never been starstruck by nobody. And like I told you, I grew up next to the Bulls, so I don't care who you is, what you do. Guess what? You go and you sit down, and you got to put your pants leg on one leg at a time. You go sit down, and you go have a meal every day. It don't matter if you eating lobster and I'm eating, what I'm saying, oatmeal. Guess what? When we get done, we both gonna sit on the same throne.
I hear you. So do you believe that we have arrived to a point where we have the precipice, as you were saying, where there are enough black folks that are willing to hold black Americans accountable, that are doing things that are detrimental to the black community?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I really don't. I'm gonna tell you this, and it's sad, bruh, but we still got that porch and field mentality.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll talk about
We
it.
we still, well, and I don't like using the N word, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't use it. But we still got that beef against the porch and the field. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we still got that mentality where it's too much infighting.
Mm.
Everybody. Whew, Lord help me. I'm gonna tell you this, right?
Go ahead.
And this we have we have um man, so many black churches, in this country. All
Mm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many churches in this country. And the old saying, the most divided, time of the day is 11 o'clock on Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's even more divided. Not only are we losing, what I'm saying, the body is losing membership. And when I say the body, I'm not talking about New Horizon. I'm not talking about, Emmanuel, or the American Methodist, or any of those. I'm talking about the Christian body.
Mm.
We're losing, what I'm saying, ground, and we're losing membership. And it's because, and this is going to relate back to us and our infighting, if you just bear with me.
Oh no, please! I want to go into this because I interviewed Pastor Coleman on Monday, and we talked
Okay.
about this. So please, I want to hear this. This is important. I believe in this right here.
It is. A lot of what problems we see, most often, we find ourselves in, is there a lot of wounds are self-inflicted, unfortunately. Like I said, a lot of infighting. You have, first you have to get over, one, the color barrier, hold ourselves against, saying, oh, you light bright, or you dark like a, blackberry, and it's a matter of, what the and for you white people, that's, please don't think I'm racist. And so, when I say this, I say it in a general term, as far as like the industry and music go, but what white people deem to be in season for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've struggled with, for this last decade. We struggled with ambiguity. you say the word for me?
Ambiguous.
Ambiguousness. Yes, I'm getting tongue-tied. Sorry. We struggle with that, where the portrayal of us was these ambiguous people, that were kind of, well, they could be black or they could be white, or whatever else. And even though that person, what I'm saying, and it's not nothing against that person because hey, they took a job, but even though that person may identify as black, they were chosen because they are ambiguous enough where they won't offend, the Donald Trump class. That's what I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say white because it ain't white folk. We got a lot of allies, what I'm saying, and white people. So I'm gonna say the Donald Trumps of the world. They're ambiguous enough where they won't offend them. You know, and so we have that type of infighting. Then we have the infighting of class. Like, oh, you're from the ghetto. Uh-huh. Or oh, I live in the suburbs and this and that or whatever. I can bridge that gap because like, all right, I'm living in a little bitty old Burlington, but I grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I grew up where on, New Year's, mom came and grabbed all of us. We got in the tub and, she laid on top of us until sunlight came up because it was bullets flying and she didn't want us to get accidentally hit.
Wow.
That's the, what I grew up in. So like I can relate to being in the hood, but I can also relate to, being in this nice, more safe environment, and I don't like hold any animosity. I won't hold any animosity because, what I'm saying, I see a brother that's walking down the street and his pants sagging and he tattooed up. I'm not finna get scared and intimidated because I know that, what I'm saying, he's, a product of what his environment is as much as my kid is. They don't know nothing about that life I live. You know what I'm saying? But we hold that again when our struggles is the same. Because when the red and blue start flashing behind your back, you know what I'm saying, the fear is the same. You know what I'm saying? The anticipation and everything else is the same. You know what I'm saying? Whether you got a kilo in the trunk or you got, what I'm saying, your keto in the trunk. We both have that same fear. So we have that, unfortunately dividing us. And like you was mentioning, I can't think of the guy name, but he another Tim Scott, the one you had just mentioned about the reparations.
Herschel Walker.
Yeah, he's one of them up and coming Tim Scotts, whatever. We have people like that also that, they got their nose up in the air about anybody that seems to not have managed to, get those same, slim opportunities that you got, because it's not like it's widely accessible to us, and because you got it, and Tim Scott got it, and what's the hood dude in the trunk?
Ben Carson.
Carson, because y'all got these slim opportunities, yeah, I'm proud for you, but that should be an opportunity for you to come back and reach out a hand and lift up the brother that got his pants pulled down and say, hey, you know what? Come with me. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about how you look. I just want to, take you for a ride. And guess what? I'm driving you around my neighborhood. I'm going to show you like, hey, this is available to you. And then guess what? I'm not just going to show this to you. Now I'm going to show you how to achieve it, But no, it's like, okay, I'm here now. I want to hold my nose up, look back and say, I'm not a part of that. That doesn't represent me. Yes, it does. All this represents who we are. And until we can accept that, then, we're going to continue to have this infight. Now, back to the church, the separation of the church. Guess what? God made one church. He didn't make Baptist. He didn't make Methodist. He didn't make, Episcopal or none of that, right? Lutheran, all of that, right? He made one church. However, we have the church, okay, and not New Horizon, not Emmanuel, none of that. The church, God's body. We have moved away from God's vision of what church is supposed to be. Okay, so you take a T.D. Jakes, Potter House, and you got people, oh yeah, I go to Potter House and da-da-da-da, and they, want to look in, a certain way, or, this is my pastor, that's my pastor, you know what, no, he ain't. Guess what? That's your brother, that's your sister, you know what I'm saying? That's who that is. That's somebody that God has put in place to, grow you spiritually so that you can go do what he has commanded each and every one of us, the pastor, the deacon, the choirist, or whatever else he commanded all of us to do one thing, and it's not, your job title, it's for to go tell people about Jesus Christ, right? So, we get caught up in these titles of, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and, address me this way and address me that way, and da-da-da-da-da. Guess what? When God see you, and he address you, he's going to say, you wicked and evil servant, right? Because we have gotten away from what he has deemed as his vision for the church. One body. We look at 1 Corinthians, he breaks it down. That son is the eye, son is the mouth. Son got to be the meat. We all got a position to play, but we all are one part, one body, right? You look at Acts. When you go to Acts, like the 2nd chapter, right? And the Christians, before they start being called Christians, right? All the apostles, the church was growing. And guess what? They said that they took, everything that each person had, not just the members. You see what I'm saying? Not just the members, like, oh, you go and give. No, everybody. So that means that the apostles gave. That means that Jesus' mama gave. That means that Mary Magdalene gave. That means that everybody gave and put into one pot So to take care of everybody. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, that is something that's attainable in 2021 and that would work in, this capitalist society or whatever. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it was one line towards one goal for people. And then you go a bit further and you go to more okay, I'm not going to quote the chapter because I don't know it exactly, but it's still in Acts, right? Where Paul and Barnabas, what have famine. So Paul and Barnabas, they went around and took a collection, from all of the churches